Hi everyone, Janey here. Welcome back to my garden. I know it doesn't look like it with this perfectly blue sky. It's deceiving. It's been raining all morning and it's been wonderful, absolutely glorious. It feels like everything is fresh and clean right now and I love it. But it's so funny because I was waiting for it to stop raining to come out here. But then if I was to tell you guys it was raining all morning and show you this, I look like a liar. But trust me, it was raining all morning. So now that I finally had a chance to get outside, I want to continue a project that I actually started yesterday, and that is getting my greenhouse up and running for the winter season. So this is my greenhouse. It is a Canopia greenhouse and it is called the Triumph, which is an orangery. So an orangery greenhouse they're the ones that have the doors kind of centered like that, and it's almost kind of like in a T shape. Let me show you from the side. You guys, there we go. It's kind of almost like that. So just the shape of this greenhouse is called an orangery greenhouse. And Canopia has two versions of them. They have a smaller one. It's really, really pretty. And then this is the bigger one, the Triumph. And I love it. So I actually started with this project yesterday. And the majority of the day yesterday, I worked on this greenhouse table, what I'm calling my greenhouse table right here. I actually got this greenhouse table off of Facebook Marketplace for an absolute steal. I love it. It's so cute. It has such interesting detailing on it, like this rope detailing. It is kind of on its last leg. It's, you know, it's not a spring chicken or anything like this, but I think it's the perfect table for the greenhouse. So I did film how I worked on this table yesterday. So let me show you that right now. I just found. Oh my goodness, another one. This is number 2. Wasp nest number 1. 2, and finally, baby one, it's still there, number 3. Gosh, it's so funny because I didn't even see them in there. Turned out great. I actually put 3 layers of that stain and sealer on. The first 2 layers went on perfectly, but the third layer, I think I left a little too much time in between. You're supposed to put your next layer on within 20 to 30 minutes, and I think I left it like an hour and a half or something like that. So the third layer did get a little splotchy, but it's okay. We'll just ignore that. We'll pretend like we didn't see it. So I guess I should back up and let you all know my goal for my greenhouse this year, this winter season, I should say. My goal for this space is to make it an oasis, basically a place that has flowers, it has blooms, it has foliage, even though we'll be in the dead of winter and there won't really be anything else going on outdoors. Now I kind of say that with an asterisk because right next to me I have these gorgeous olive trees that are, you know, evergreen and going to keep their leaves, and more olive, you know, topiaries right here. So yeah, there's still going to be some stuff, but I think I really want this greenhouse to be a place that I can come out and just be with nature and be with my plants, even on a rainy day or something like that. So that is my goal. I do have a heater from Canopia that I am going to be plugging in and using to regulate the temperature in this greenhouse. And then I did get a greenhouse thermometer that actually hooks up to my phone. And so I can kind of watch it and come out here and turn on the heater when I need to, or turn it off when I need to. I have these automatic vents, so if it gets too hot in here, they will open up automatically and let out some of the heat, and then if it's cold like it is now, they will close and they'll keep everything nice and warm. So I think it should be pretty good keeping this whole area regulated. So I think temperature is going to be a non-issue for me out here in this greenhouse. I do live in California. I do live in zone 9B. We don't get freezes. We get a couple frosts. So I know I have it easy. I totally have it easy, especially if I have this heater here, but I'm not worried about that. What I am worried about, based on the fact that I want blooms in this greenhouse, is I am worried about the amount of daylight hours that I'm going to have during the dead of winter, basically the shortest days of the year. So what I've been researching is a concept called phototropism. And what phototropism means, it's basically the amount of daylight hours a plant needs to either bloom or to fruit or to stay out of dormancy. So there's 3 categories of phototropism. One of them is long day, and those are going to be like your summer bloomers. You know, we have, coneflowers, and we have asters, basically anything that's going to do really well during the dog days of summer. And then you have your short day plants, and those are going to be either your spring bloomers or your fall bloomers, because if you think about it, those are days of the year that are shorter. They have less time where the sun is up and giving that plant daylight. And so there are certain plants that need only a limited amount of daylight hours to actually bloom. One of these that we all know about, and it's kind of the perfect time of year to talk about this, is poinsettias. If a poinsettia has too many hours of sun, it's not going to bloom for you. And so poinsettia growers in greenhouses, they actually grow poinsettias in complete darkness for most of the day, and then they'll turn on their grow lights for just a couple hours, and that's how they force poinsettias to bloom in time so that they can get them out to the stores for us for Christmas. Another really good example of short day plants are mums. Think about it. Mums do not bloom during the summer. They don't start blooming until the fall. It's still hot, but they don't bloom until the fall, and that is because the days are getting shorter because they are short day plants. So long day plants, short day plants, and then we have one that doesn't care at all, and those are called day neutral plants, and those are the ones that I'm focusing on this year. So examples of day neutral plants are some strawberries, some sunflowers, corn, cucumbers, tomatoes, yes. And then a funny thing is that petunias, you can see over here, petunias are actually considered day neutral plants. However, meaning that they will bloom. It doesn't matter how many hours of daylight they have to force them to bloom, but they will bloom better if they have longer days. And I know this because I've actually tried to overwinter petunias, and they've survived. They've given me like 1 or 2 blooms over the winter, even in my greenhouse, but it wasn't worth it because they didn't bloom very well, and that's because they didn't have enough daylight hours. Another really good example of daylight neutral flowers, don't look at I need to deadhead this guy really bad, and I will do that today, geraniums. Geraniums are a very well-known daylight neutral plant that doesn't care how many hours of sun they have, they just care that they have enough warmth. So what I'm planning to do, I have this geranium right here that I need to deadhead, and then I have 3 more geraniums over in one of my Vigo garden beds. I'm going to repot those, and I'm going to take them into the greenhouse so that I will have some nice, beautiful foliage and hopefully some blooms in my greenhouse in the dead of winter. Let me show you, they're right here. 1, 2, 3. I think they're pink. I don't remember. It'll be a nice surprise. So what I'm actually going to do today is I'm going to sow some tomato seeds. I have my absolute hands down favorite variety, Sun Gold tomatoes. These guys, oh, they're just incredible. And then I have this one, the Moneymaker. And I just wanted to see how they do. I'm not the best veggie gardener. You all know that, but wouldn't that be fun to have some tomatoes during the dead of winter? So they're not going to care about how many daylight hours they have. They're going to be plenty warm because I will have that heater going on, and I'll keep it at the proper temperature, and I might get some really good blooms, or fruit, I should say. I will get blooms, and because I won't have any pollinators in my greenhouse, I'm going to have to hand pollinate. That's a whole nother story. I'll probably talk about that in another video. Yes, I've been doing a lot of research on this. So the last type of plant that I'm going to be putting in my greenhouse for my oasis is these houseplants right here. Now, I got these houseplants for this California room on my back deck. They've been absolutely beautiful, loving their life. They've been growing like crazy, especially this guy. But I know I'm not going to be able to leave them out here. They're going to be a little bit protected because they're underneath this kind of awning here. So I think that they would technically survive our winter since we don't get any freezes, but they're going to be so much happier in the greenhouse with a little bit of sun and some warmth. And so these guys, I'm not even worried about their phototropism, whether they're daylight neutral or long day or whatever, because I don't care if they bloom or not, obviously. We grow these for the foliage. So I'm just going to add these to the rest of the plants that I'm going to be growing out there, hoping that it's going to add to that look of just a nice, lush, beautiful living greenhouse in the dead of winter. Okay, so I'm just going to get started. Enough talking. I think first thing I'm going to do is sow the tomatoes. I'm actually going to put the tomatoes in the grow lights in my office because that's going to ensure that they're going to germinate really quickly. I'll harden them off in a couple weeks once they germinate into my greenhouse. And then I have this whole beautiful planter set up that I'm going to be growing them in. So I'll show you that in a little bit, but I think I'm just going to get started. I think that's a pretty good starting off point, right?
I think it looks really nice. You did a good job.
I think it looks really pretty. So this is just the beginning. I have plans just to continually add to this greenhouse whenever I have a plant out in the garden that I feel like maybe needs a little bit more protection, or if I'm at the garden center and find something pretty. But let me show you what we have so far. So first of all, this planter is actually from Edgerite. I don't know if you all know, but they make planters, metal planters, which I thought was really, really cool. I haven't really had a place to put this one. I think if I had like 2 more of these, I would have had a couple places to put it. But then I realized I wanted some type of planter in this greenhouse, and I thought this one's perfect. And the reason why it's not backed up against the wall of the greenhouse is because I have this bar up here. It's just a support bar for the roof, but I thought this would be a perfect spot to tie off my twine so that my tomato plants, the 2 tomatoes that I've already sown, and then I also have this Thunbergia that I got from Annie's Annuals, now Curious Flora. Stay tuned for a fun video later on this week. This one is called Rose Sensation, and you can see it's blooming right now, and I think so these are perennials in zone 10 and they will bloom in the winter. So I couldn't find too much information on the phototropism of Thunbergia in particular, but I think I'm going to get some blooms out of it. And I think it'll be an interesting experiment over the winter time. So I'll keep you updated on the Thunbergia. I have the 4 geraniums, just pelargoniums. I always say that wrong. Pelargoniums?
Don't ask me.
I replanted 3 of them. These were 3 that I got from the garden center on a really, really good deal. And I had just been holding them over in the Vigo beds. And so I replanted them in these pretty pots. I think they'll just do fabulous here. And then right next to that, I have some coleus, some Wicked Witch coleus from Proven Winners that I had left over. I have my 3 fall pots that I did in front of the metal workshop. Those guys are going to be suffering pretty soon. So I think I'm going to take some of those plants and bring them in here. But I had some leftover 4-inch pots that I figured, okay, well, I might as well just plant them in here because coleus will, we're not looking for coleus to bloom, and it'll keep with the foliage as long as it doesn't get too cold. So I think the coleus will be really good in here. Again, we have this geranium. It's just a hot pink fuchsia geranium. At one point I knew the name, but I don't remember the name right now. And then everything else is just houseplants, which should be pretty easy to keep happy. They might not grow like crazy with the heat, but there should be some more humidity in this greenhouse based on how I'm going to keep it. And I'll be spraying these plants and everything like that. So I think that they should be pretty happy. I am not good at houseplant names. Not good at all. So I don't even really want to try. I feel like this is a Dieffenbachia. A cast iron plant. I feel like this is a philodendron. Don't even ask me because I'm just not 100% sure. So as for this heater, we didn't get this heater hooked up because we realized we don't have an outdoor rated extension cord long enough. So what we're going to do is we have plugs on the outside of my office. We're going to run it all the way over here, and then we actually put in a PVC pipe underneath the ground, underneath the footing of this greenhouse, so that we could bring plugs and cords and all that kind of stuff in here. So we're going to be pulling that through, but we just got to go to the store and we got to get a long enough outdoor rated extension cord, and then I'll be able to plug in this heater. But honestly, I don't really need the heater right now. We don't get to our coldest time until the end of December, so I really don't have to worry about it for about another month, I would say. But I'm going to leave it in here just so that I know that I got to take care of it. I do want to put more of a workbench right over here so that I can water plants, I can sow seeds, I can prune plants, all that kind of stuff. We do have those greenhouse tables that I made for my last greenhouse at the last house. We have one of them over on the other side of our greenhouse, or our metal workshop, that we're using just to put pots on. I think I'm going to use that one, bring it over here, and I think that would be a really good workbench. So Jason doesn't know this, but I'm telling him.
Okay, I guess I'll go get it.
You don't have to do it today. We're almost out of light. So anyway, really good start for my greenhouse oasis. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a fun experiment to see what's going to bloom. If I pick plants correctly, I think that I could have some really beautiful blooms in this greenhouse. Keep it warm and have a really, really fun winter season where I still get to play with plants. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.